No matter what you've been told, there is a belief that will always beat you. I've got 10 minutes. Let's talk about it. The belief that will always beat you is the belief that goes unchanged. And the perspective that I teach from is that our living world is a projection of our internal beliefs. What that translates to in this context is your beliefs are running everything, which means that if you are not intentionally changing those beliefs, then you're allowing them to stay. And if you allow them to stay, they will continue to create, even if you don't want them to create, right? There is no stopping creation unless you kill the belief, but the belief's in you and you're alive. So here we are. What do we do then? Well, we take a look at the cycles. So I had a former client reach out to tell me that she has been stuck at 50K months. She can't get past 50K months. And no matter what happens at 50K months, she will randomly get bills for upwards of 10 to 15K, right? Just randomly. And this cycle, keep that word, hang on to that word. This cycle keeps happening. Now, we're not currently working together. So I gave her some feedback and then, encouraged her to do a couple things. But if we were working together, the thing that I would go through is I would do an audit on how she moves in terms of what she thinks, what she believes, and her actions in those 50K months. So I would really want to know when those payments hit her account, what does she do? When the payments hit her account, what does she think? When the payments don't hit her account, what does she think? When she is out in the world, what are the essence of her thoughts, right? Is she anxious about the business? Is she thinking about when the next invoice is going to hit? Is she worried that, oh, another big thing is going to drop, right? Another shoe is going to drop, another big bill is going to hit. What is the essence of her thoughts when she's out? And what does she truly believe about herself? Because these are the things that really make up the circumstances that she, or all of us, right? This is not unique to her. This is me, this is you. And we can choose to acknowledge it so that we can work with it, or we can choose to ignore it and continue to be victims to it. So when we can be in acceptance that this is how this particular reality works, then we can go about doing something about it. So when somebody brings me a cycle, or when I notice a cycle in my life, then I take that as feedback on a certain belief pattern that I am consciously or subconsciously running in my system. And I will give you a really concrete example of a cycle. Okay, so I have a little dog named Lola. She's 7-ish pounds. And Lola and I have a morning routine. And Lola runs this routine. She knows it every single morning. So we wake up in the morning, we do a little snuggle, we get up out of bed. And as soon as we get up out of bed, we walk to the kitchen and Lola gets her treat. Okay, she gets her oinky. And Lola sits on the rug and she eats her oinky. And after her oinky, I let her outside. She goes outside, she does her business, she comes back in. And when she comes back in, it's time for Lola to go back to bed. So she goes into my older son's room and sleeps there for a period of time. So the function of this for Lola is that this is a cycle. And the cycle of this is sustained by who? Me. I sustain this cycle with Lola. Lola can't open the drawer to get her treats. She can't open the door to let herself outside. She can't open my son's door to get and sleep in his bed with him. So here's what happens. I sustain the cycle. So if I continue this cycle and I don't want it to change, I don't do anything. I just keep showing up in the way that I've been showing up, right? I keep snuggling her in the morning. I keep walking with her to the kitchen. I get her treat. I keep participating actively in the way that I always have. Now, here's the funny thing. There are mornings where maybe my younger son wakes up and something happens and I can't get Lola her treat immediately. Lola will remind me. And Lola will remind me because there's momentum. She has been trained to this, right? So Lola will come get me and be like, hey, you forgot my oinky. We need to get this going because you forgot me this morning. And it's funny because I will literally tell her, oh my gosh, you're so right. I got to go get your oinky, right? And I fall right back in. So she is my external reminder that I am not being compliant with my end of the deal of upholding the cycle. Now, again, this is a cycle I don't want to change. So I'm not going to change anything. I don't think differently about it. I don't have any different kind of feelings about it. I behave in the same way every single morning with her. And even when I have people babysit her, they know this routine with her if they're staying at our house. I share that with you because that's an example of a cycle where I want to keep the cycle so I don't change anything and I actually make efforts to keep it, right? Now, let's say it's the opposite. Let's say Lola's had too many treats, right? And she can't have any more treats because they're not good for her, or the vet says she needs to lose weight or something like that. So it would be on me to do something different to change the cycle. So the belief system of the cycle is that this is good for Lola as it stands, her getting a treat, her going outside, coming back in, going back to bed, right? The cycle I just described to you, that this is good for Lola. So that belief that it's good for Lola and it's good for me keeps it going. Now, if the vet were to tell me, hey, she can't have these treats anymore, or she can't be eating this early in the morning, right? Or something like that. If the vet gave me some news that this was no longer good for Lola, or it was no longer good for me, then I would be responsible for changing that. And I would need to start with the belief that this is no longer good. This is no longer healthy for us, for me or for her. And that's a part of my value system, right? It's like, is this good for as many people as possible? It's not always going to be good for everybody because everybody's so unique, but is this good for everyone? Is it working, right? Is this a win-win situation? And so I would need to believe something different first. So I would need to know, oh, this is actually harming one of us, or this is not in the best interest of Lola or of me. So we're going to shift it around. So catch that. Believe first. Then I would start to think, how would I change it, right? Let's say the vet says Lola needs to lose weight. So I go, oh, okay, so I can't give her a treat in the morning. I start to now think about ways that I could make this routine different. Can I take her for a little walk instead of going straight to the treat drawer? Maybe I go to the drawer, which her leash is in that drawer as well. So maybe I pull out her leash and her harness and I put it on her and we go for a little walk instead, right? Maybe I start designing how I am going to show up differently based on the awareness, the new awareness that this is not good for her anymore. So this is the process. So when you come to me and you bring me a cycle, I can't transcend 50K months. I can't date men who are more emotionally available. I can't stop eating sugar. I can't stop drinking alcohol. I can't stop scrolling on my phone. I can't stop binge eating at night. This is the cycle that you go through. Okay. So you have the awareness, the new awareness, the acknowledgement, and the embrace of the awareness that this is not good for me anymore, right? New awareness and acknowledgement of it and acceptance of it. Then you start to think. You start to think about how you could make it different. Now, here's the part. This is the part that people skip. The people skip, they go, oh, I shouldn't do that. And then they go, I'm just going to stop cold turkey. I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to do it anymore, right? And then they go right back to the cycle, or that thing shows up again. And so you need to think about how your life is going to look different with this new belief, this new awareness, and you need to write it out. You need to draw it out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you haven't lived this way before. And anything that is new, that is being brought from idea into physical form and physical action, has to have a blueprint, right? There are designs. For the clothes you are wearing, somebody drew that out. For the house that you're sitting in, or the desk that you're sitting at, or the chair that you're sitting in, somebody drew a blueprint for that before it was brought into physical form. There were dimensions, there were measurements, there were color ways, there were textures, there were design patterns. It was well thought out, unless it's a terrible design, but that's a different video. So you design the whole thing. How am I going to show up? So what this would look like is like, I would be like, okay, I'm going to design this. I'm going to Write out, okay, Lola's going to get up. We're going to do our little snuggle. We're going to, instead of, getting a treat, we're going to go for a walk. Then we come back from the walk. She's going to do her little business, probably on the walk, and then I'll let her into the room so she can sleep, right? I'm changing her routine and I'm changing how I show up to it. Here's where it goes awry for a lot of people too. Does Lola resist this? Yeah. Do I feel resistance to it? Yeah. The treat made her so happy. Like, the treats make her happy. She's so excited to give her treat in the morning. It would be so sad if I couldn't give them to her anymore, because she would be looking at me like, where's my treat? And I would be looking at her like, I'm so sorry, I can't give you one, right? So know that this is going to happen in many cases. In the same way when you're, trying to potty train a toddler, or you take their pacifier away, and it's like, there's this period of time. If any of you have ever quit sugar, there is a period of time where you've got to fight the demons that thing was alleviating. You know what I mean? The internal demons. You're going to have some stuff come up the first 4 to 7 to 10 days. And then after that 7 to 10 day period, you forget you even had the old pattern. But there is absolutely going to be pushback, and that's a part of it. And you can expect it. So expect it and have a plan for it. Have a plan for the pushback. Have a plan for when you feel like, is this working? Is this not working? Is this going to happen? And have a plan for, if I was to actually do this with Lola, she would probably a few times throughout the day go sit in front of that drawer and woof at me. She doesn't bark. She has a little woof, woof, woof. She would woof at me. And I would have to be like, I'm sorry, girl. You can't have that. Mommy's not going to get that for you. Right? And that's the thing that gets to happen. But the beliefs that will absolutely beat you are the beliefs that you refuse to acknowledge and change, and the beliefs that you stay victim to, because you are not victim to the circumstance. You are victim to the beliefs that you hold, that you either are consciously aware of or you are not yet aware of, but are showing up and trying to reveal themselves to you through this pattern. And this goes across every area of life: money, dating, nutrition, workouts, kids, all of it. Everything is showing you who you are and what you believe in and who you become in any given circumstance. Take this and do with it what you will. I love you so much. I'll talk to you soon.